Was that Boba Fett in The Mandalorian? That is a question we're going to be pondering on today's Force Friday show. And Stephen, as I did say, it's pretty self-explanatory really. It's a question and it's obviously from the first episode of The Mandalorian, and there is one specific scene about midway into this episode where Pedro Pascal's lead figure, the Mandalorian, walks into, I want to say, a Mandalore junkie den. That's what I'm going to call it.
Yeah,
a
sounds
hangout.
Good to me, yeah.
It's not a junkie den.
There.
I'm being facetious. It's a hangout, and there's various different Mandalorian figures in the background. One looks strikingly like a certain Boba Fett. Now, Stephen, I have my opinion on this. What is your opinion? Do you think this is Boba himself?
No.
Reunited from the dead, from the pit of Khartoum?
They're not going to do that in their first episode, John, or second episode, whatever it was. I've clearly not seen the episode, but I have seen the screenshot. They're not going to do that. They're not. That's if they're even contemplating bringing this character back. That's not the way to do it. It's an Easter egg. That's all it is. It's just an Easter egg that sort of suggests that it's a character that looks very much like the character we know and love or hate, whatever. It's the same colours, but I do believe if you're going to be getting digested, or you're even within that sort of, the area
belly, the gut.
Yeah, the gut. That's what I was looking for, John. I don't think your armour's going to come out looking like that, is it?
No, it's not, Stephen, and that was one thing that immediately struck me when I seen the photo. I'm not even going to lie, I've seen it once, the episode. I didn't notice the background scene. I was more intrigued by the Mandalorian himself, and this concept of him giving this signet to this female Mandalorian figure, and just the selfishness of the
John,
character.
as we know, the armour did survive.
It did survive, yes.
According to Aftermath, the Chuck Wending book.
Yes.
The armour did survive, so it's just it's the beauty of Star Wars, you can put these little things in and get all the fans' minds racing, and that's what I enjoy about this franchise, that you can put these things in the background and these articles come up and we can talk about them.
Stephen, you know what I took from it? I took from it that Boba Fett is just one of many. He's not that important.
Well,
He's not that special.
No.
He's set dressing in the original trilogy. His father, I should say, not his son, outshone him in the prequel trilogy. He did a lot more. He acquitted himself better against the great Obi-Wan Kenobi. He never got anywhere near that level of ability in terms of fighting. Certainly he could fight. He's got that legendary aura around him, the character. You can sense it's palpable when people walk into a room or he appears. There's that fear. So he's obviously got a reputation. In world, he's, I presume, a very capable fighter. He can handle himself. But what we've seen on the actual screen in the movies, he was a joke. And the first time he was thrust into a fighting situation, he was made to look like a fool. He bounced off of Jabba's sail barge and fell into the pit of Khartoum and died. Well, presumably. Now that we've obviously got this new canon, as you did say, he survived in the old canon as well, I'm pretty sure. But you're right, Stephen, the Chuck Wendig Aftermath series, it was alluded to that his armour was found in a marketplace, I believe. So he discarded the armour. So that, again, would tell you it's not Boba Fett, because he's not got that armour anymore. He's got rid of it. He's a man reborn, like a phoenix from the ashes. So I'm going off on a tangent. The one thing I take from it is that he's just an everyday Mandalorian. Well, he's not even a Mandalorian. He's just one of many. It's not that special. Yeah. And Disney are going out their way to say, look, you don't need
it's just
Boba
an
Fett.
Easter egg.
Yeah, it's an Easter egg. You don't need Boba Fett. You've got the Mandalorian. He's much cooler. He's got better armour. This guy's just one of many, man. He's in the background. He's a side man. He's riding shotgun. Your man Pedro Pascal was very much in the driving seat. And I agree. They've created a more distinctive looking character. To me anyway. Yeah. It's a better actor under it. It's not some extra who's been living off of it for about 30 years now, going to cons. And I cannot wait to see more of this TV show, Stephen. It's a great start to proceedings, if you like.
Yeah.
Give us a solid start. I know you've not seen it, so I don't want to spoil it for you. But we did speak about it anyway.
I did see the interview, Pedro Pascal. He was talking about his sort of first interactions with Jon Favreau. I don't know if you've seen it, John.
I've not seen it, no.
It's the first time I've heard the man speak. I didn't really know too much about him until, obviously, he was announced for this television series. He comes across as a very likeable, down-to-earth guy. I know that some people want to see his face in the television series. I don't know if it's going to be revealed or not, John. I don't know too much about it.
I hope not.
But I think people want that confirmation that it's going to be him under the mask, because there's a lot of people fearing that it could be Brie Larson.
Oh, jeez. Is that a thing?
Yeah, that's a thing, John. That would be the biggest wind-up ever. So,
it's Brie Larson.
But I hope it's not, because the chap seems a very down-to-earth kind of guy, and sometimes it's not that important to see somebody's face anyway. The mystery surrounding this character is what entices me to watch this series as well. So,
Stephen, I can't believe that's a thing. Brie Larson, this is a woman who had a stand-in for, I think she had a butt double on Captain Marvel. There's no way that's her. Definitely Pedro Pascal. You're right though, Stephen. I've really enjoyed that element of the episode, the fact that it was hinted at this mysteriousness surrounding the Mandalorians. One of the first, I don't know what type of species it is, but it's an alien species he goes to collect a bounty on. It says, I heard that you never take your mask off, is that true? It's just small talk.
Yeah.
And Mandalorian's not interested, he's just silent.
He's probably had that question.
Yeah, so they're building this mystery around him. I don't want to see him take the helmet off. I've seen people criticise it already, saying that he's never going to take this helmet off. Well, look, he's criticising the decision to take Kylo Ren's helmet off too soon, reveal his identity. Now you're criticising him for not. Try to build some mystery. I personally think he will take it off at some point. I'd rather he didn't. It retains that air of mysteriousness around the character. But look, it is what it is. Final thing I'll add. Do you think Boba will turn up at some point in this TV show in the future, maybe even season 2? As we know, there is a season 2 greenlit already.
Yeah.
Do you think he will pop up at some point? And can they handle this character well if he does?
There's always a temptation, John, that could go down that road. Obviously the studio knows how much a lot of fans like the character. As long as it's not shoehorned, it'd have to be some reasonable explanation for him turning up. And that's one of the reasons I don't believe it's going to happen, is because it would take some of the focus off the Mandalorian if he does turn up. He is the sort of star of the show. Well, so I don't know. I don't think there's any need for it, John. It would be very forced, but it depends obviously in the writing and what road they're going to go down. But if he doesn't appear in it wouldn't bother me.
I'll tell you what, Stephen, you see he's the star of the show, but for me the star of that first episode was that IG droid. Good Lord, the way that equipped itself, it was very impressive indeed. And it was the great Taika Waititi who voiced it. I didn't know it watching it. So much going on. I highly urge you to watch it, Stephen. You'll get a vibe.
Who directed the first episode, John?
It was the great Dave Filoni himself. I keep saying the great, but he is great. Yeah, Dave gets Star Wars. For a first outing as a live action director, I think he acquitted himself pretty damn well. Yep. So it's onwards and upwards. I know he's done another episode. I don't know which one. That'll be the next thing, Stephen. Just seeing how these all blend with the different directors coming in, the different styles, will all blend into a homogenous, wholesome experience.
Is it one continuous story, John, or is it going to be separate
stories? I hope so. I hope it's one continuous, because certainly Werner Herzog's character setting himself up very nicely as this sort of a nefarious figure. We've not even got Giancarlo Esposito in there yet. I can't wait to see him. Yeah. And obviously Carol Weathers. But look, Stephen, I shall move on, because we've really scraped the bottom of the barrel with that one. Not in a bad way. We've got down to the bottom of the barrel. We've spoke the hind legs off it.
Yeah, for 10 minutes,
Yes, 10 minutes. So the next topic will probably not be as long as that one. It's about John Boyega, and he is saying that he's pushed for more Finn in Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. He had Finn, yes, not Pin. He had an interaction with a fan on Twitter who displayed his love, I want to say, for the character. He says, "I'm not a fan of episode 7 or 8, but I liked your character from the start. Really wish they'd developed it more and didn't completely waste him in 8. Boyega has then replied, I hear you, give it a shot, episode 9. I was really adamant on more Finn involvement. Hopefully you like it." So, Stephen, first and foremost, again, he's interacting with the fans. He's showing that down-to-earth sort of a side. That's great to see, but what's your thoughts on more Finn? Do you agree?
Well, not in episode 7, John. I thought they handled the character well in 7. I was talking to you the other day about it. I thought most of his interactions with Harrison Ford were brilliant. Absolutely. I think that's where the character really shone. His introduction, we got his backstory as well, all fitted in nicely and was a good setup for episode 8. Unfortunately, it didn't go that way. It was cast to the side as a sort of side plot, which I thought was terrible. Not just obviously the story, which was terrible, but the decision to do that to the character as well. So John Boyega is aware of that. That's why he's pushing for obviously more story for the character, and hopefully he gets a good send-off. But saying that send-off, we don't know, because there is talks of possibly one of the new three, getting perhaps a spin-off television series. I would say it would be more of Poe Dameron, because he seems to be getting built up in the comics and stuff like that, John. But I would not mind seeing a Finn series either. Daisy Ridley, on the other hand, has more or less, I don't want to say washed her hands of the franchise. She's moved on. I think she's done. I think she's done enough, to be fair to her, and I think she's obviously, appeared in like Murder on the Orient Express and films like that, and she's wanted to try her hand in other things. So I can understand that. It'll always be in the back of actors' minds that they don't want to be typecast. The Force Awakens was her breakthrough, her first feature film. I thought she was excellent in it. Can't blame her for the handling of the character overall. She can only do what she's asked to do. So I think John Boyega's right. I think the character deserves a bit more of a platform in episode 9. I can't wait to see the character. He's my favourite character out of 3.
Absolutely, Stephen. I am the same. He has always been my favourite character of this new heroic side of things in the sequel trilogy. Certainly as a whole, I think Kylo Ren, Ben Solo's probably my out-and-out favourite. Even though he's been up to some dodgy stuff, killing his father, also Han Solo, he's just something about Adam Driver. He has that presence, and he's a great actor, and I really connect with that character. So that's why I'm hoping he will be redeemed in the end, although not the way the leaks suggest. I don't want to see him going down a pit and never coming back.
I think Chewie would be happy with that. I don't think he's going to forgive him.
No, he will not forgive him, Stephen. You've seen what Chewie did to Lando. Supposedly
did to Kylo Ren with that shot in the leg.
I think Chewie will probably have to be kept apart from Kylo at all points in this final movie. But Stephen, I absolutely agree. Anyway, as a heroic side, Finn's always been my favourite version. He just brought great humour to it. He was almost like the audience's perception into the Force Awakens, with the way that he was running scared of the First Order. He was almost bewildered at what was going on. He was thrust into a world he was never expecting to be a part of. He's almost forced to be a heroic figure, and you see he's not really cut out for it at the start. He's wanting to run away to the Outer Rim, do his own thing, take Rey with him, but then as the movie slowly progresses, he becomes more and more heroic. So certainly I'd like to see more of Finn, and obviously in The Rise of Skywalker. I feel it was butchered in The Last Jedi. It was absolutely despicable what they'd done to that character. He went off for a side jog with Rose Tico, did nothing on Canto Bight, and ultimately the whole side arc was superfluous to the actual story. It went nowhere. DJ was a bitch. What was it he says to him again?
He's a murderous.
A murderous bee, so we can't. So there was no need for it. There was no need for that. So I want to see this character being redeemed. He could have had his redemption at the end of The Last Jedi with that great moment of self-sacrifice. Stephen, when you were speaking about it, it got me thinking when they actually did butcher the character. If you recall correctly, what they did with Poe, he was initially supposed to die in The Force Awakens, and then they made his role bigger and kept him on getting into the rest of the sequel trilogy. It almost felt like the roles have been reversed with Finn. As this trilogy's moved on, Poe has become more and more important. He's become the leader of the Resistance by the looks of things. He's this hotshot pilot. He's having a big role in the effect of the Resistance. Whereas Finn's become more marginalised. He's having less of a role. It felt like he could have died in that middle movie. He's almost like the Han Solo. There's no real need for him getting into this movie. So, whilst I agree with John Boyega, I want to see more, and hopefully they've handled the character and treated him with respect.
It's strange, John, as he is my favourite character. I did prefer him to die in The Last Jedi for that act. Obviously, it was intercepted by Rose. I thought that took away his moment. That would have been a memorable scene for the character. I think it would have been a fitting end to the character as well. Just like you said, that was what Harrison Ford foresee for the Han Solo character, sacrificing his life in the second act of the trilogy. This would have worked well. Absolutely,
Stephen. And look, I've not got much more to add. I'm going to give it away nonsensically, but I do hope that with JJ coming in and this being a character that he created, and I say I hope he created, I know it was a bit of a committee writing thing with him and Lawrence Kasdan, but with him coming back, hopefully he can maybe bring this character back out of the gutter It's hinted at in the trailer. The Force brought us together, so maybe there is something special happening in the plot, which will do him justice. He'll get more screen time, and fans will go home happy. I'd prefer him to be a Jedi who's had it more subdued and hidden within him, not as bombastic in your face like Rey was when she awoke in the Force. But look, I'll move on. As I did say, I don't want to give it on nonsensically down a rabbit hole like Anthony Daniels did a few months back on Twitter. Right on to the next topic, Stephen. It's all about J.J. Abrams speaking with the creator himself, the legend that is George Lucas, about midichlorians for Rise of Skywalker. Now, he does say, I'm trying to get the quote, that he had conversations with Lucas about midichlorians. He loves his midichlorians, but it was a very helpful thing. Sitting with him is a treat just to hear him talk, because it's effing George Lucas talking about Star Wars. I always feel it's a gift to hear him talk about that stuff, because the effect that he had on me at 10 years old is utterly profound. What's your thoughts on this? Does this alarm you? Or does this fill you with some optimism about this final trilogy, that he will indeed connect everything in a way that feels organic?
Obviously, the original trilogy, John, didn't touch on this topic because it wasn't written at this point, but if you're watching them in sequential order, it does kind of leave a gap where they're not even mentioning, obviously, the whole sort of concept of the Force and where it came from, whether you like it or not, it is canon. We got it in episode 1. I don't think it was really touched upon after that, really.
No.
Apart from maybe Palpatine sort of hinting to, and Rise, Revenge of the Sith, that's the one. So it would make sense for it to come full circle. J.J. Abrams has always maintained that this episode will connect it all. So this is one of the sort of, the connections from the prequel trilogy that I think probably will be addressed, especially with obviously the the resurrection of Sheev Palpatine, how his spirit or being, whatever it's going to be, whatever form he's going to take, has to have some kind of connection to midichlorians. Absolutely,
Stephen. I think it's going to play a massive part in this final movie. As I did hint at before I passed it over to you, there was talk from JJ from the very get-go when he stepped back on, replacing Colin Trevorrow in this movie, that he would be trying to piece together all of the saga, the prequels, the original trilogy, and now the sequel trilogy, in a way that felt harmonious and organic. And the best way to do that is to perhaps go back to the Force and just what it means. It was obviously this mystical thing in the original trilogy. It surrounds us and binds us. In the prequel trilogy, it was established it was more microbial, midichlorians and stuff like that, and that's what George actually had in mind for the sequel trilogy and his original treatment. So I think it's only fitting, with all this talk about bringing George on and speaking to him, and talk of maybe, I don't want to say getting back to his original treatments, because I don't feel they're doing that at all, but it feels like they're maybe throwing him a bone and bringing him back in as a consultant or something like that. He was on the set of The Mandalorian as well. I feel like it's only right to get back to the midichlorians. I think it will be pivotal for Rey. I'm adamant that Rey has been buffed via the Force, that she's been created in some way through manipulation of midichlorians by obviously Sheev Palpatine. I think that's why he's coming back in. They've maintained that he will have an integral part in this story or this movie, and it was always planned from the get-go. Well, if that's the case, then it has to be down to the lineage of Rey, because that seems to be the story, or the question that's been the big thing that's been pondered in this sequel trilogy. Who is Rey? Why is this Force awakening in her and balancing to see off obviously Kylo Ren? I think that will be explained via midichlorians. Why Palpatine's still here and why she's who she is, and maybe it'll explain her lineage as well. That's my thoughts. Don't know if it'll happen. It may be that she isn't anybody. She's maybe the great niece of Palpatine, and then she assumes the name of Skywalker, like we've heard. I personally would like to think JJ has a better idea than that. He's maybe come back, taking some tidbits from the great George Lucas, who's always been wonderful at crafting stories. It's just the dialogue that's shit, and then we'll get a great and fit story at the end that maybe redeems midichlorians as well, who knows. But look, Stephen, I don't know if you've got much more to add to this one, so we shall move swiftly onwards then to the final topic of today's Force Friday show, and it's all about the infamous Starkiller base. And apparently it's been confirmed that it was indeed a Jedi lightsaber planet. And that seems very, I don't know, it doesn't sound right to me. I think you could have just said it's Ilum, because that's what it is. It's called Ilum. It was established way back in 2001 this is where the Jedi went in a sort of pilgrimage to get their kyber crystals for their lightsabers. It was always there was always hints, Stephen, and rumours that perhaps this is where the Starkiller base was based. Now it's been confirmed, I think, via some, I don't know, information for the Jedi Fallen Order game. People have been looking through the meats and bones of that game and discovered the connections. What's your thoughts on this? Do you care?
It's another one of these sort of trivial things, you know. As I said, John, this is the beauty of Star Wars, that you can dig so deep into these details, and some of them may matter to some people, some of them may not. To me, no, I'm not really that fussed, to be honest with you. Starkiller Base was always a strange one to me anyway, you know. It was just the whole sort of logistics of the operation, how that worked, you know. How did that technology work?
Creating
the
energy from the sun.
Yeah, but the whole built into the sort of planet type thing, it was just didn't sit with me at all. It was just a bigger Death Star, like they said, obviously in the Force Awakens. But I mean, I don't really know much more to add, John. I've got to be honest with you, because when I saw this article, I've got to be honest with you, it was one of those ones where I was like,
fling it in as a fourth article.
I don't really care, to be honest with you. If that's my answer, I don't really care. I think they're digging deep. They're obviously.
I think you've dug deep as well, Stephen.
Yeah, I think they've dug ourselves a hole in this one. But it's interesting. I'm not going to discredit the article, John. The article itself is quite interesting, but it doesn't have really any profound effect on, my viewing on obviously Starkiller Base or lightsabers for that matter.
Yes,
Kyber crystals.
Stephen, I think this is just again the story group throwing a bone to, well, the canon novels and whatnot and things that have came before.
Yeah.
Obviously, Kyber crystals. It was established in Rogue One that
the
Death Star was powered via Kyber crystals. They were going in mining. I think it was it Scarif? I think it actually was Ilum. They were going to mine. Because this is going to be set up round about a similar period, I believe, in between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. It's the Order 66, the Jedi have been hunted down. This chap, it's the lead guy in Fallen Order, I believe it's called. It's coming out I think it's out today actually.
Yeah.
We're also delayed, so it's not actually out just now. We're recording this.
Yes.
Pre-recorded, it's not live.
Hence why we're wearing the same clothes.
Hence why we're wearing the same clothes for like 3 days in a row. We're not gadgies, that's a Scottish term, search it up. Up in the dictionary is your friend. We are just doing it all in the one go. But yes, Stephen, that's why I think he's the primary figure, and it's set during the hunt for the Jedi. He goes off to Ilum. It's then explained that this is indeed the same location as Starkiller. Yes, ILM. Yes, I think that's deliberate. That's where the magic happens. That's how the Jedi get their magic. You're absolutely right, Stephen. But look, I don't know if I've got...
What's your thoughts on it, John?
Yeah, my thoughts are, I don't really care either, Stephen, to be honest with you. It's just flinging the canon a bone. Yeah. It's interconnecting it all. Finally, they're interconnecting it all after the effect. You mentioned previously, it's very haphazard, Star Wars, and the way they introduce things and approach stories and whatnot. Yeah. You were speaking about the Midichlorians. It not really been a thing in the original trilogy. It was then established in the prequels. This is the same.
But I don't mind, John, I don't mind them throwing these things into video games and such like, because they're not really a key to any plot or anything like that. It's really just adding to the experience of whether it be a video game or a comic book or whatever. As long as it's not any sort of key changes or anything like that, it's going to make you look at something totally different. Things like that are just... it's what makes Star Wars, you know? Yeah,
Stephen, I think the final thing I would add is that they're just covering up for creating a third Death Star concept. That's really it. They had no real creative juices flowing. They just felt like they would do an amalgamation of the first 2 or 3 original Star Wars movies, set up a new generation into getting what Star Wars is in the first movie, and then hopefully transfixing them going forward for this new Disney era. They had no real originality, so they created another concept, Starkiller Base. And now they've thought, you know what, screw it, we're bringing out this game, we'll fling this in as a concept, and then we'll throw it a bone and say, there you go, it's the same place. We do know what we're doing after all. It was all part of the plan. Well, in actual fact, it's not. It's very haphazard. At least George had an excuse for his haphazard explanations behind why he went and done Star Wars the way he did. He didn't have the technology to do what he wanted to do back in the 1970s and the 1980s. So he left it. And then came back when it was there after Spielberg done his thing on obviously Jurassic Park. But look, they don't know what the hell they're doing. It's been proven time and again. Hopefully JJ will come in and save the day with Rise of Skywalker. It doesn't even connect. I don't know why I'm mentioning that. It was The Force Awakens. It's gone. Or is it? Who knows? We all thought the Palpatine was gone and now he's back. But look, guys, that's going to round up today's show because we are really digging ourselves a hole. I have not got much more to add. I'm tying myself up knots, so I'll get out before I hang myself. What did you make about the array of topics we spoke about today? What do you think about that Mandalorian appearance? Is it Boba Fett? Is it just some random guy in armour that looks like Boba Fett? What do you make about John Boyega and Finn getting a bigger role in The Rise of Skywalker? Do you want to see it? Do you care? Lord knows. What do you think about Midichlorians? Will they have a big part to play in The Rise of Skywalker? Do you care about that either? I personally don't really care. What the hell do you think about Starkiller Base, in fact, being Ilum? If you have anything to say, you can comment down below in the comment section and let us know what your thoughts are down below. Like the video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying us gibbering nonsensically away and content like this in general. And we'll be back again on Monday for another episode of MBE Movie News.